Here we are. We're back. Or I'm back. Dave's about to be back too. Let me straighten this out a little bit. Crooked. Hate to be crooked. Susan, what's going on? Look at you. Susan, the first. Dave, Captain Ron. Oh my goodness. Look at it. Beeps. All right, my AirPods keep on saying connected.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on, man?
Oh.
Captain Ron just joined and he said, hi, Craig. I always feel like I'm in trouble when somebody uses my real name.
Well, when Captain Ron calls you, you typically are in trouble. No, I'm kidding. By the way,
point.
I got to tell you, with the crazy day I've had, and then when we had our brief talk, not even having the fire going,
yes.
I'm not trying to make this an ad, but holy cow, does this speed up the process. The Luft wireless.
You mean that thing right there, over there?
It is fun, and I like to play with fire.
That's right.
But and it's easy enough to use. I even let my 16-year-old get it going, and he did it. So,
nice. Lex Luthor, what's going on? Look at all these fine people joining this evening.
So what do you have right now? And I've got to find out the name of the company that helped me get all these IPAs and different things.
Yes.
But this is called Dad's Shoes Lazy IPA. Now, I'm not sure if that sounds that appetizing, but we're going to find out.
Dad's Shoes. Okay. All right. Yeah. Whatever. I got, so I'm sticking with the same. If you guys joined our little test an hour ago, you saw that I was drinking some Riverwalk, Enjoy Your Life from my boy, Michael Bernier. It's super humid out here, hot. Well, I'm also sitting right next to my Big Green Egg that's fired up too. And so it's a good crushable little session IPA. Treat me right tonight. This
is really good.
It's good.
I gotta tell you, it says it's a New England style India Pale Ale, but it's Alpena, Michigan is where they're from here. But I'll tell you what, Austin Brothers Beer Company, that's a good beer.
Nice. Well, listen, I think I've heard Michigan is a hotbed for IPAs these days.
That is really good.
Nice. I'm
gonna have to go on to another one soon since this one's good enough to finish quickly.
Has it warmed up there at all?
It's it's nice and humid, and sitting next to the Art of Flame, it's warm here.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Logan.
Hi guys, can you hear me all right?
We got you, man. We got you.
Awesome. I am calling in from my pickup.
Very nice.
Are you driving currently, or are you just this was the quietest place that you could find?
Yeah, I'm stopped, but it's the quietest place I could find. Heck yeah.
Good. While we're talking here, I'm gonna throw on a little flat iron steak. If you guys can see that, that's a North 40 flat iron. Nice looking piece of Wagyu there. Not gonna do anything fancy to it, just a little salt and pepper.
It looks very similar to its brother over here.
Very nice.
They were separated at birth.
Comes from the same animal, yeah. That's one thing about us is we're small enough to where even when you get your ground beef, it most likely comes from just one or two animals.
Well, listen, let's I say we just hop into this. So Logan, first of all, thanks for joining.
Heck yeah.
Guys that everybody that has joined the podcast tonight, thank you for doing that. Dave and I took off a couple of weeks for weather and all kinds of stuff, but we're back at it. I've got hot and humid weather out here on my deck here in New England. Logan, what do you got over there in Nebraska going on? I'm sure you got some humidity.
Yeah, humidity. I think it's in the 80s all this week, but 50-60% humidity.
Nice. Well, listen. Let's kind of hop right into things. So
here,
we got.
I'll get
you want
here.
Go, Dave. Go.
Logan, I've gotten to know you a little bit here, but tell us tell us about your operation so we can get a feel for it.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm a 5th generation farmer. Grew up in it and loved it ever since I was a little kid. Anyways, got into the cattle deal ever since I was 8 years old, and got into Wagyu cattle in 2010. And so from there, we just started selling our Wagyu meat directly a few years ago, and me and my business partner Alex Heine actually selling direct, so farm direct. So we're farm to table. Everything's processed at a local butcher, and everything's finished out here using our local farm raised products. Little part of our family farm, and we focus on quality. You know, we're not the biggest, but by goodness, I want to make a good end product for guys like you to love in your backyard.
Now, do you use a few butchers in your area, or?
Yeah, we used to just use one, but now we use two, and that kind of started with COVID. All these butcher plants got filled up, and we didn't have enough spots, and so we expanded to another guy. They're both USDA inspected and do an awful good job, all custom cut and individually packaged, and then we have a North 40 label on there as well.
That's awesome. So Logan, we got this little podcast that we do is usually pretty mellow, but I've always got to throw in one of those 60-minute questions. So this is a really hard-hitting question. You ready for this one?
Let's do it.
All right. So on your website, your tagline says "World-class American Wagyu." All right. It's okay. So it's not that hard-hitting. So tell us about it. What makes your Wagyu world class? And I mean, is it 100% Wagyu that you guys do? And tell us a little bit more about that, because obviously, these days, right, Wagyu, whether it's American, Australian, Japanese, Kobe, there's a lot of different versions, right? So kind of inform us a little bit about what you guys do and what kind of Wagyu.
Sure. Yeah, this is American Wagyu. And so what we're doing, we're using purebred Wagyu genetics, registered with the American Wagyu Association, and crossing them on the Angus, the Black Angus animal that's popular across America. And so what we're getting is a Wagyu Angus cross, and what that's allowing us to do is to not have quite such a rich product, but very rich and very flavorful for what we know here in the U.S. And it's creating a more affordable product. I mean, we're just a fraction of the price as a full-blood Wagyu, with a still great taste. And something that price sets us apart is the farm to table, where they're getting raised and fed right here on the farm, and then I'm going out and hand selecting those for butcher. And so it's just a 1 or 2 steer harvest at a time, and they're all hand selected and hand cut meat, and then we're hand picking those out, going into the packages that we're shipping across the whole U.S. And we're selling some burgers in some restaurants as well. But world class quality is what we mean by that is just because we're small doesn't mean we have different quality. I would actually put our product up against anyone else's Wagyu product, American Wagyu product in the country, and that's something that we're proud of, I guess.
That's great. Really quick, Dave. So, I mean, you talked about Wagyu cattle. Are you guys feeding them differently than you would regular Angus? What's the diet like?
Actually, I love talking about that. I appreciate that question. I'm a cattle guy, So these are longer fed than a normal commodity Angus beef. So they're fed about an extra year. So we harvest them about 26 to 29 months of age. And so they're slower gaining animal, but we actually want to feed them to their maximum potential of marbling. And that's the biggest thing in this Wagyu is the amount of marbling in the meat. Dave, you've cooked some before and posted on Instagram there, and that's our biggest thing we're focused on is marbling. So what we're doing is feeding a home raised corn, a local source corn, a distiller grain, an alfalfa hay, a grass hay, a protein supplement. And so this ration that they're getting fed for about a year and a half, and closely monitors helping them be who they are. And these cattle are getting no added hormones, selective antibiotic use, so no implants. These are all natural cattle, and that's really helping with their end product marbling as well.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I'll tell
fantastic.
you, I've seen your chuck roasts, your ribeyes, your flat iron steaks, which is fun because that's actually what I'm cooking right now here. But it's a great smaller piece of meat that's not overly expensive, but you get a great tasting Wagyu that you're so versatile to do different things with. But the marbling on your chuck roast was incredible too. So you really got that product there.
Thanks, Dave.
You answered most of the questions I was going to ask, but are there any other competitive advantages that you feel you have out there?
I feel like we're price competitive, Dave, and that's just because we're cutting out the middleman. Like we're going direct. When you call customer service, you're calling us, and it's the people that raise it, the people that feed it, and the people that grow it, and we back our product with quality. If someone's unhappy, you're going to talk to the people that actually deal with the cattle.
Well, in talking with you, I've definitely been able to notice your passion about it, and that's what's neat. And again, the quality of everything I've tried that you had has been outstanding as well.
How are those
I'm
short
even able
ribs?
to grill this one sitting down today, but
There you go.
That's the laziest griller ever.
I got to tell you, it's been a long week. I've been doing a lot of filming, so I've got my dad's shoes hazy IPA, and I'm sitting down at the old Art of Flame grilling. It's nice and relaxing here.
Listen, I'm doing the same thing, so you know, I can give you some shit, but I'm doing the
I
same.
learned from the best, Craig. I learned this from you.
So I got, as you can see, I've got my little flat iron on the plancha on the Art of Flame, and sizzling away. So since Logan, since we both got the meat on right now, let's talk a little bit about, maybe for folks that haven't cooked Wagyu before. Um, from your perspective, I know Dave and I probably have our own opinions. Any advice that you could give people out there on cooking Wagyu versus cooking a regular steak?
Yeah, great question. I'll tell you my opinion, but then I definitely want to hear your guys's too.
Yeah.
I'd say two things. One is no need for over seasoning. We're very proud of the natural flavor. A little salt and pepper goes a long ways. No need to marinate it. No need to put all the fancy concoctions on. And then that marbling, it's kind of got a buttery flavor to it. Really rich, loaded. And it's a lot different than the commodity beef. It's actually a healthier kind of marbling too. Higher in omega-3, higher in omega-6, lower monounsaturated, saturated fats. But it's loaded with flavor at the same time. And then number two, I'd say don't overcook it. If you're gonna overcook this meat past, like a medium rare, all you're gonna do is burn up the marbling, the intermuscular fat in it, and you aren't gonna be able to taste that, and you're not gonna have the eating experience that you guys and I get to enjoy.
So basically, knock the horns off it, give it a sear, and it's ready to go.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that's so as you can see, I mean, literally, I just got a little canola oil because I didn't want to put any extra flavor from the oil. I'll salt this after. This has got zero seasoning on it, this little flat iron, and it's obviously on a hot plancha. Probably about a minute and a half per side. But I mean, I'm with you on pretty much everything that you said. I think, I mean, to take it to the next level, most of my Wagyu, I love doing on a plancha. Because it's so fat rich. If you do it on a grill and you do it like a typical steak, you can get a lot of flare-ups, right?
Yes.
Yep. So
Yes.
I just love getting. Oh, you can see that sear. Oh yeah.
That
Hopefully you
sounds
guys can
good.
hear
I
that.
can hear that from here.
Can you
The
hear that
sear on
sizzle?
this guy from the Art of Flame plancha too.
Heck yeah. Dave, those flat irons are cut a little different than those last ones you had. I think the last ones were a little bit of a more square cut,
Yeah.
and these I kind of like because you can, when I'm done with one of the longer ones, I'll just slice it into little, almost like sliced medallion type of
Yep.
deals, and and serve it with some vegetables and stuff. And man, that's one of the best meals I've ever eaten.
You know, with ones this size, one thing that I do, again, you don't need to do a lot with the Wagyu, but I do like a little richness of the goat cheese on a crostini with this, and a little dab of chimichurri on top. And this is the perfect size to kind of cut that up and do that with. I wish I would have thought of that sooner here today, but this meat, you know, I'm gonna cut it here and again, my patience to let it rest, you know, it wasn't really there because I'm going to eat that right away. But beautiful, just medium rare. The marbling on this was great. And it is. It's like meat butter. You know, it melts in your mouth.
Speaking of melt in your mouth.
Oh,
You cooked that perfect, Dave.
that's a beautiful sear there, Craig.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that is a good piece of meat. I'll tell you, I'm not even having to stand up to cut my meat right now. I'm still sitting down and enjoying. This is the life, though.
So, Logan, another question about cuts. So, you know, I mean, there are obviously some traditional cuts. Here, hold on. Let me, you guys don't need to be staring at my steak, I guess. Maybe you don't need
Hey,
to
it looks good.
stare at me either. You know, a lot of the traditional cuts, right? But you know, flat iron is something that, you know, maybe people haven't cooked before. You sent me something interesting, a Sierra steak. You tell us a little bit about that cut.
Yeah, the Sierra steak. You know, the Sierra steak, the Denver steak, the flat iron, some of those non-popular cuts, they're loaded with flavor. It's something that I think is undervalued. You know, when you go to a restaurant, I'd rather have something like a Sierra steak, a Denver steak, over a ribeye or New York, just because everyone and their dogs always. I mean, you always eat a ribeye, and they're cool and they're fun and they're loaded with flavor. But these steaks, like the flat iron, like the Sierra steak, like the Denver steak, they're affordable, but I don't think they're any less quality. What do you guys think?
I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of the flat iron in Denver. I've not tried a Sierra steak yet. But the flat iron, to me, the richness and flavor of it's outstanding. And like you said, the affordability there is a little better as well. And you're getting that quality Wagyu taste. Denver steaks are one of my favorite, and I think one of the incredibly underrated meat. So it'll be interesting to try the Sierra steak as well. But this is outstanding right here.
Yeah, well, listen, it wasn't too long ago that you know, the Denver was what's the word I'm looking for? Was invented per se, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love different things. I love to cook different things, and that includes different cuts of meat too. But I'll tell you, so we talked about the flat iron that I just cooked with no seasoning. I'll throw a little kosher salt on that in a second. But that Sierra steak. A little chimichurri, made a little homemade chimichurri this morning. So I had that, all those flavors melding all day. I'll tell you, that's all it needs. And I love chimichurri, man.
Chimichurri is so good. It goes well with anything. It's such a simple, and it doesn't take away from the flavor of the steak. It just adds to it.
Yeah.
And so simple to do. It's why I have parsley growing right up there just to be able to make it whenever I can. So if I don't have to run out to the store to grab some parsley, but and now I've switched to the pairing of the Rabbit Hole bourbon with the steak too, and that's a nice pairing.
You know what? That's frightening that you and I are kind of on the same page.
I was going to say great minds think alike, but we might just have to go with minds think alike.
Dull minds. So Logan, I think you hit on it at the beginning. So how long have you been in the business and cattle farming? Third generation, is that what you said?
I'm actually fifth generation.
Fifth.
Oh, wow.
Fifth. So we would have, distant family would have settled on our home farm shortly after it got homesteaded. So not homestead, but right after. So been doing it forever.
And so how, didn't really have this kind of written down, but through this last 15 months, now that hopefully we're kind of coming out on the other side, for ranches or farms. So I've got farming background back in California. um, for ranchers, for how has what have you guys seen through this pandemic? Has it forced you to change what you do, your business model? What's been the impact? Which I'm assuming whether you're in Nebraska or California or wherever else as a farmer or rancher, probably the same type of thing. So how has that affected your operation?
We went through the same deal that the rest of the industry has been going through, and that was not having enough butcher spots, harvesting spots to get the animals processed when they're ready. So like last year, our online business grew with COVID. Everyone was at home, and it was a lot easier to get your beef shipped direct to your door. And quite frankly, some of the grocery stores had their beef sold out on the shelves. So we shipped out quite a bit of beef, but we were maxed on how much we could do because we couldn't get our beef processed, and they were ready and they were sitting there. And the whole industry actually faced it. A lot of the cattle got beyond finished, got too big. At that point, you're just inefficient and have a little excess outside fat. But, what we did different, we kind of pivoted and got connected with this other locker. And so the main one we use is called ASC Lockers, and it's just 20 minutes down the road in West Point, Nebraska. And then now the other one we got connected with is Diller Locker, and it's 3 hours one way. So, you haul your cattle down, and then what we do is a 14-day hang on those cattle before they get processed or cut up. And so then you go down 2 weeks later and pick up the meat. And so added a lot more miles and hours to the business, but we still want to serve the customers and get our cattle processed when they're ready and on time.
Yep. Interesting.
You guys are, if we're all talking here, my wife keeps coming out here and saying one more, and so far my steak is disappearing here. I need to eat faster, but
now when you guys got those steaks in the mail, do they arrive all frozen and everything, or how'd you like that?
Yeah. So mine are probably the freshest. So as you know, mine got here. So I went from Nebraska to New England. Mine got here at about 4 this afternoon, and the all the dry ice was still big old bag of it, and all the steaks were nice and frozen. Had to gently thaw a couple of cuts to make sure that I had some. But I mean, they're fantastic. But yeah, listen, the shipping is great. Listen, my my UPS and FedEx guys also know that it just said Cmac on the label, so they know where it goes at this point. So yeah, it was great. Dave, how about you?
Awesome.
It's interesting you asked. I think somebody played soccer with the package, but this tells you how good it was packaged, because there was a hole, and I was getting ready to show you, there was a hole in the packaging because it was kicked, but because of the dry ice and everything in there, all the meat was still frozen and perfect. So despite the fact that they played soccer with your package through UPS or how it still was in perfect shape.
Oh geez, I'm glad it arrived all right.
I was glad too. I was surprised when I opened it that it was that good a shape, which tells you how nice you keep it in there. So
yeah, good. We added a little dry ice, with the heat in the summer. Seems like you got to use a little more dry ice in the winter.
Oh yeah. Listen, sometimes Brown Santa needs to get a little exercise, and they play a little soccer with the packages before they are delivered. So Logan, if people want to, and Dave and I will of course post pictures of our cooks and everything here, but
yeah,
people want to find out more about your meat. What's your website? And obviously they can order from the website, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. N40beef.com, and then the number 40beef.com. Order right on there. We only ship on Mondays just to avoid packages sitting over a weekend and getting thawed out somewhere. So ship on a Monday, and look, you got yours on a Thursday right on the East Coast. So a lot of our packages arrive Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, depending on where people are located. But you can order right on the website. We got a bunch of products on there. I mean, we got a cowboy cut ribeye with a bone in, kind of like a mini tomahawk. We got short ribs. We got briskets, burgers.
I do have to say your short ribs are outstanding. The marbling on those and how rich they are, very, very nice. I do apologize. I probably will not be posting anything from this cook because it's going to be gone in about a second. But
hey, I love it. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know what I need to do for you guys is I'll send you a promo code, and then anyone that's following along or sees your post here afterwards, we'll just give them a little promo code with a percentage off. Does that work?
No, that's
Sounds
fantastic.
good.
Let's do that. That'd be great. Ooh, that looks good.
Oh, Craig. That's how you do it.
Now that's a flat iron, right?
That's a flat iron.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, flat iron and Denver steaks, those are two of my favorites that are most underrated out there, and a good value, for people. And especially the Wagyu, the marbling you get in those, it's just outstanding. But, hey, Logan, thanks for joining us. Craig, always fun. We got to cook together at the same site sometime soon.
Yes.
I was jealous when I saw Captain Ron and you guys having so much fun and drooling at the same time. And enjoy your rabbit hole there, too. Logan, we'll be in touch, and we'll make sure we get out to all our followers the discount code so they can try out your beef as well. And, Craig, remember, spread love
Through barbecue.
Through barbecue.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Thanks
Heck
for
yeah.
joining.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Logan.
See you guys.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye-bye.